As good as you are, you're not nearly as good as you think you are.
This is Mosaik, live from the Freak Sanctum, and welcome to part 4 of Leverage, the Art of the Con. For those of you who are new to the vault, this is a series where I take in-depth looks at my favorite shows, and we're about to get to my favorite season of Leverage, Season 4. Make the algorithm happy by liking, subscribing, ringing the bell. All 5 seasons of Leverage are available on Amazon Prime Video, so make sure that you've seen at least the first 4 seasons, as there will be spoilers galore. With that said, let's go steal a good time. Season 4 follows up with the crew 2 weeks after taking down Damian Moreau, taking on a new job on the side of a mountain. Upon getting back home, they discover bugs in the apartment, meaning that someone, for some time, has been spying on the team. Even more, someone seems to be altering the dominoes as they fall, such as rehiring an executive that they got fired in a recent con. Investigating these intrusions lead them to Fortune 500 investor Jack Latimer. Turns out that a mysterious source has been feeding him information on the team's activities, but not to take them down. Latimer's been using the information to make targeted investments, essentially betting against the companies that Leverage destroys, profiting from the fallout and to get even richer. This naturally does not sit very well with Nathan, who defiantly refuses an offer from Latimer to join in on the scheme. As time goes on and the crew continues their path of destruction, Latimer's hidden associate seems to grow restless and decides it's time to declare war on Leverage. Season 4 downplays the overarching storyline of the season, with it coming up rarely overall throughout the season. And while I would have liked to have a more prominent storyline, this I feel is mitigated by the strongest collection of episodes in the show thus far. Every single episode is some level of great, inventive, funny, and slick as hell. Want an episode during a murder mystery cosplay party? Got that. Want an episode that parodies The Office Community style? Got that too. Want a period piece episode with flashbacks to World War II featuring the cast as different characters? Oh baby, yes! And they're all tied together by the central theme of this season: consequences. When you spend your time taking down bad guy after bad guy as thoroughly as Leverage does, it's not hard to imagine that some of Leverage's old marks may hold grudges.
And when you're that high up,
It's a long way down.
However easy it may be to forget, consequences are always right behind you. This season is about the past coming back to haunt you. And the best thing is, it's consistent. From taking down a crisis manager who framed his best friend years ago, to a tech exec whose grief over his wife leads him to neglect his daughter. From taking down a con artist using his past marks, right up to the reveal of the true big bad. But the past can also remind you of the good, like how the team helped Hurley, who returns this season. But just as much, this season is about learning to let go. The past can fuel you, but if you're not careful, you will burn up. It can consume you, isolate you, and even destroy you, or possibly worse, destroy everyone around you. There's nothing wrong with hanging on, but not when it's off of a cliff. Overall, the only character who individually develops is Nate. It's not something really set up at the beginning of the season, so much as the beginning of the show. Most of the characters' progression this time around is romantic. Parker and Hardison are finally closer to actually dating. While nothing is official, they are going on dates, getting gifts for each other, and spending much more time together in general. It's very cute and very entertaining to watch. As is Nate and Sophie's relationship, though in a different way. After last season's excursion, they're initially pretty awkward with each other. They eventually decide to
just f*** already
and start a friends with benefits arrangement. To me, this is just splitting hairs, seeing as they act like an exclusive couple in every way but name. And to me, if it walk like a duck and talk like a duck, then you might be more than friends that
Language.
Continuing the show-long trend, they also got some excellent guests this season. Jerry Ryan returns for an episode as Tara, and Drew Powell has a very fun return as Hurley. But we also get Eric Stoltz, Joanna Brady, Mitch Pileggi, Anne-Marie Johnson, Todd Stashwick, Emma Caulfield, David Ogden Steers, and Peter freaking Stormare.
Don't address me directly.
Highlight episodes this season, it's so hard to pick, but this is what I got. The Long Way Down Job, one of the best season openers, right up there with the freaking pilot. The Van Gogh Job, absolutely stellar piece of television, kicking off their period piece series of a sort. And Danny Glover guest stars, The Hot Potato Job, just one of the absolute most fun episodes that they have ever done. The Cross My Heart Job, it doesn't matter just how underprepared they are. When they put their mind to it, Leverage can accomplish anything. The Queen's Gambit Job, all I gotta do is play one clip.
Hello, Nate.
The Girls' Night Out and the Boys' Night Out jobs. Again, they experiment with something and they just knock it out of the park. And while I think the two-part finale for this season isn't quite as good as, say, season 1, it still freaking works. The episode begins with Nate getting a call from Latimer about a job offer that Nate refused earlier this season. But this time, he immediately leaves without a word of where or why. The crew manages to track him to Washington, D.C., where they see him attempting to formulate a plan to break into the U.S. Patent Office, where they find...
Hello, Dad.
Turns out Latimer brought Jimmy here from Ireland and hired him / blackmailed him into trying to steal a patent, not knowing what it's for. And to make matters worse, a group of local thugs are also on the premises, tripping the alarm and bringing an army of FBI. Clearly, this has all been a setup, but to what end they still don't know. And with the place surrounded by 5-0, the only way out is through. It is here where we get one of the funniest scenarios in this show. Nate runs a radio play and fakes a hostage situation while trying to pull off the heist, while Elliot plays the part of the lone cop trying to save everyone inside. For the two people who don't know what I'm talking about, the crew literally reenact the plot of Die Hard. Subsequently, Jake Peralta would be having the biggest boner right now. After tons of fun and merriment, they barely escape with the patent that Latimer wanted, a water filter for a river dam, which is weird. However, Jimmy Ford, still trying to protect Nate and his reputation, slips away with the patent just as Nate starts to realize who the puppet master really is. They race as fast as they can to get to a warehouse, where it soon becomes clear to Jimmy just how bad things have gotten, and he warns Nate to stay away.
Tell him how much Jimmy Ford loves his son.
But they're too late, and the building explodes in a familiar fashion. This is the second time that the Leverage team truly lost. Not just setbacks, they lost outright, and arguably even worse than season 1. They had something taken away from them this time. This This is personal now. Finally, we meet the bastard behind the curtain, Victor Dubenich, the crew's first mark and the man who formed the team in the first place. 3 years he's been in prison, plotting against the team while accurately predicting their exploits, giving him a very rich ally, Latimer, on the outside.
You tried to kill me and my team.
Your team to my team? Mine. I put them together, and then I handed them to you. I did all the research. I know exactly who they are. I know their techniques. I know their context. And I know your team better than anyone. I certainly know them better than you.
Knowing everything they are capable of, he makes it very clear he intends to not just beat them, but eradicate them. Nate, filled with rage and hungry for revenge, obsesses over a way to beat Dubenich, finding Latimer to be their best shot. Knowing that they have no chance of getting anywhere close, they decide to form a suicide squad of allies and enemies. The hitter from the Season 1 finale, Quinn. Hardison's bitter rival,
Breaking protocol.
Say my name. Chaos.
the greatest thief of yesteryear, Archie Leach. And most hilariously,
My wife? You recruited my wife as your backup?
Ex. He never says ex-wife.
Nate looks like a bum here. Latimer is released from jail, and he promptly hires a hit squad to mow down the whole team, who, not being complete idiots, have already left Nate's apartment, converting a cave into a base of operations. And thus begins their master plan. While the crew seemingly mount an offensive and gets stopped at every turn by Dubenich, the real job is pulled by the new recruits. Dubenich, recognizing a sinking ship, tries to use what's left of Latimer's money as a lifeboat, only to have it stolen by Hardison and Chaos.
And from Victor's account into ours. Come on, get you down, baby. Get you down, baby.
But now we get down to the grit. Nate has spent the whole con doing target practice with his father's gun. Everybody tries to talk him down, but Nate is not having it. Elliot is even prepared to kill Dubenich on the spot just to save his friend some trouble. With the con complete, Nate draws Latimer and Dubenich both to the dam, and despite the team's pleas, prepares to kill them both. They try to manipulate Nate into letting them live, but he's not having it.
Of course, nobody has to pull the trigger today.
Nate walks to the edge and places the gun on the ground, right between Latimer and Dubenich. Nate and Sophie are officially an item, and the crew walks off to break the law, at least one more time. This is a great episode, but, in my opinion, not the best the show has done. It's fun and all, features a very pivotal moment for Nate, and acts like a celebration of the show with all the returning characters. But it's always felt a bit rushed to me for some reason. But when you look at it as a part 2 to the radio job, which I never did before and I don't know why, it feels a lot better. Going back to Nate, the moment he puts down the gun is a culmination of his arc in the show. Nate has a habit of letting his anger get away from him, especially towards rich assholes. Even when it may be a little out of character, like here.
She's been missing for 4 days and there's no evidence of foul play. The FBI has given up on the case. That's why you're here. She left you, Wellesley.
Nate lost his family and it destroyed the rest of his life. But it was the crew, his new family, who allowed him to get back up and finally start to let go of that anger and self-loathing. And it's seeing the team that reminds him he doesn't have to take this path. He simply sets them up to destroy themselves. And now, he can finally start to move forward. Season 4 is a series of back-to-back bangers. Just like every season, I do wish that there was more serialized storytelling, but this show's episodic nature has always been one of its strong suits, and when the episodes are this good, I can hardly fault it. Some of the most iconic episodes come from the season, and it still has one of the stronger storylines that they've done. What show do you guys want to see me cover after Leverage Season 5? Once Upon a Time, Warehouse 13, Eureka, or The Librarians? Comment down below and tell me what you guys want to see. Like and subscribe, hit that bell, share this video, do all the things that make YouTube happy. As always, this is the Freak Sanctum, and this is Mosaik, signing off.